24 people, something like that. I don't know that we ever really had a full count. We never knew who was with us. Parents picked up kids and took them. We never knew who was. I was responsible to know my sister was in my passenger seat and one of her youth was in my back seat. I handled it well. That's all I could do. But I'm going to tell you what, one of the nights we decided, or no, lunch last Sunday, January loves Papa John's pizza. You may judge him however you want based on that statement. So, we decided that we would go get Papa John's pizza. But here's what we didn't think through. Billy and I, my brother-in-law, you know, the best cook the kids like, the camping trips. Billy and I said, we'll go get the pizza. I love driving the car I had, Santa Fe Hyundai, might replace the Corvette, just saying, love that vehicle. So I wanted to drive it every chance I got, so I said, I'll take it, Billy, come with me. What we didn't think through is that 6 pizzas are really heavy, and so is 6 2-liter bottles of pop, and there were only 2 of us. And we also didn't think that at the hotel we stayed at, we walked miles, I'm not exaggerating, to get from point A to point C3510 down the road. I mean, you had no idea where to go. The people who worked there directed us twice wrong to where our rooms were. So even the employees don't know how to handle the Opryland Gaylord Hotel. Gorgeous place. So, and we had to park far away. So here I am carrying 6 Papa John's pizzas like this. Billy's got all the pop, and he's huffing, and I'm like, okay, these are falling. We had to take 2 breaks and stop. Here's what was cool. Here are all these people, all these teenagers, walking by us with pizza. Yes, we did get the comments, oh, thank you, is that for us? We got all that. But I'm going to tell you what, I met 2 men that day, because 2 different times, 2 men stopped and said, can I help you carry that to wherever you're going? We said no, we handled it, we were fine. But do you know how much that meant to us? Just for somebody to honestly say, you know, my day isn't that important, what I'm doing isn't that big of a deal, can I help you? People need that. We need each other. We need to love each other and be there for each other. And when we're not, this is what happens. If we're useless in the kingdom, if we're not loving people the way Jesus loved them, we're going to be thrown into outer darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I can't even stand the sound of grinding teeth. Can you imagine? You know he's talking about hell, right? Let's put it black and white. We're talking about hell. What do you do with what God has given you? What do you do with what God has given you? I don't have a lot to say to this point because right now your mind should be going, thinking, okay, well, I did this, or I could do this, or I'd like to do this. God has given us so much. And I'm the first one to whine at different times. He has given us so much. And are we thankful? Do we even recognize it? God gives to us what we can handle. Somebody over the week, this last week, made the comment that they'd love to be a millionaire. And I got to thinking, you know what, I don't know that I want to be in charge and handle that kind of money. I'd be one good philanthropist. I just don't know if I could handle it. What God has given you is what you can handle. And when you prove that you can handle more, guess what happens? More will be given. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about everything in life. We've got to be able to handle what is in our lives. So let me ask some questions. How do you handle your time? How do you handle your time? Do you take time out to show everybody who's watching you, especially God, that your priorities are in line with His will for your life? Do you show Him? He is important. How do you handle your money? Again, God will give you what you can handle. He will provide for you. And working is a gift. If you're in retirement, I hear it's more busy than now, and I'm just not sure how that's going to work out for me. I'm kind of busy. But how do we handle the money that is given to us? And then also, how do you handle your talents? The talents that God has given to you. Some of you can work on cars. You don't want me touching anything under your engine. I don't even want to check the oil. But there are people who can do that, and how can you affect the kingdom by helping people who maybe can't afford to have the oil changed as you're supposed to, and those kind of things. Just one example. If you love and are good with children, illustration over here. Look, she's clapping, she's happy. She loves her Gabby. Gabby needs to work with kids because she's good with kids. And that's one of her gifts that she needs to do. And if she stops, I'll be the first one to confront her because she needs to do it because God has given her that gift. Do you allow him to lead the decisions? All of them. Do you allow God to say, speak into your life, and so that you know what needs to happen? There was a king who lived in a beautiful kingdom, and he was so happy, and so were his people. They worked together to improve their kingdom, and the people gave the king gifts, and the king in return was generous with his people. And this was a kind of kingdom where people all over the world would travel just to see this beautiful kingdom and how happy everybody seemed to be. Until one day, the king decided, I want more. And he grew self-indulgent, and he demanded that people bring him more and more and more. Bring me your food, bring me your best gold, bring me everything you have. And in his selfishness, he became rich and fat and alone. He was poor and miserable. And one by one, this beautiful kingdom became not so beautiful as it fell apart. People moved away. People didn't even want to visit there anymore. And so the king ended up having every tangible luxury afforded to him around him. Every kind of food he could ever want, but he ended up being alone. The kingdom crumbled and the people slipped away because the king who had become selfish and wanted to keep it all ended up losing it all. And that's what happens when we do not keep things in perspective the way God wants us to. Psalm 24:1 tells us, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The world and all its people belong to him. Do we have this perspective? Do we live this? Do we remember that everything is given to us by our holy